Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? Another U Up podcast. We're here post episode 500.
Yes.
Isn't that where we are? This is the next episode?
501st episode. It's always the best.
501.
Yeah.
And we want to tell you, thank you for being here for 501. Share it. Let a friend know. A coworker, a brother, a sister, a mama, a papa. We'll take them all. I get messages from all types that listen to this show. People just enjoy hearing other people's problems and us kind of, batting them around, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite part of the show.
Right.
Just listening to us talk about nothing.
Right.
Yes.
That's the perfect thing. What did you do speaking of nothing, what did you do last weekend? How's your suburban life going?
Super suburban-y at
Really?
the moment. Yeah. I turned down all plans to do nothing last weekend.
Sign on the door, don't
Do not-
knock, do not enter.
No solicitors.
Right.
No, I was thinking about our conversation last week about what a loser I'm turning into.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me double down on that.
Full loser.
Right. Get
Yeah.
into full loser mode. But it was a very uneventful weekend. I just didn't go to a lot of things.
But you're like in a town that like looks fall.
Oh yeah.
Like I
It's
can
nice
understand.
to like bask a little bit.
I can
Yeah.
totally understand that. Shut the doors, look out the window
Yeah.
for hours at a time.
Well, here's the thing about a house that's good and bad is like there's always something to do
Right.
to fix it, like around it.
An
that needs to be
endless
done.
list of tasks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like I think I used to be a lot more bored when I was in an apartment. Like if I wasn't doing something outside, there was nothing to do. Now it's like I have a lot more work to do, but it's your house, so it doesn't feel that bad. But it's just like it just feels like there's a lot more things to be done.
And there's also no due date.
That too.
So
yeah.
like you're
That
like
ma-
I would assume there's like a lot of rationalizations. We'll do the curtains
we'll do
another
the thing
day.
next time,
It'll
yeah.
be next time. I don't know. If I were you guys, I'd be out at a pumpkin patch out in the field, having a hot apple cider. I don't know. You live in a
gonna tell.
hot apple cider town.
we do. It's very like Gilmore Girls-y.
Right.
Maybe we'll do that. He's like, I'll get Mike to get to the pumpkin patch where he belongs.
Get them out there.
Right. What about you? What did you do? You were in DC?
I was in DC and Baltimore. The shows were fantastic. Thank you to everyone who came. DC was at the venue that we did the live U Up, which was this grand
Capital Turnaround.
big venue.
Really like that spot.
We liked that spot.
No, we don't like it anymore.
I like it. They gotta listen. You gotta have drinks. You can't.
Oh, for the audience
They
or for
ran
you?
out these booze bags here that listen to us. They really ran them dry.
It is a drinking
We're out
audience.
for the night. Yeah, I
Yes.
get it. So I'm sorry that some of the, they
Had to listen to you sober.
Right. Well, I'm sorry to do that to you. And then Baltimore was at like a rock club, which was
that's
kind of
cool.
different and cool and had its own, character. But Baltimore underrated. That whole Fells Point area. It's all like cobblestone roads and old bars, and they're having oysters. It's really nice. Baltimore gets a lot of
I've
shit.
never been.
But no, I think you would like, again, living my Gilmore Girls life. That's what we
Yes.
do.
Maryland, I haven't been to Maryland a bunch.
No? You don't
No
need
reason
to go.
to
I think you're
get
okay.
there. Yeah.
They got great Bloody Marys in Maryland.
Well-
I don't know what it is.
Oh, that's good. I like Bloody Marys a lot.
If you like Bloody Marys,
Maybe I should get there then.
I would say Milwaukee and Baltimore, best Bloody Marys that I've had. Milwaukee more for the pomp and circumstance. They put a full turkey on top of it and spaghetti in it, and they do a bunch of stuff that makes you want to shit your pants. But Baltimore does a really, I don't know, I've never had a Bloody Mary in Baltimore that wasn't made to order. Like had the little flecks of horseradish.
like doesn't feel like it's one of those like stocked pre-made.
Get out of
I hate
here
that shit.
with your pre-made. Don't have a bloody on the menu.
Right, I don't need to see it coming out of like a big what's it called?
Jug.
Yeah.
No, I hate it. It looks like
I
tomato
want it
puree.
made special for me.
Right. I want like I wanted to see the horseradish. I want to see the things in it.
Yeah. So you should start like a traveling food blog.
I have an opinion on all food things. I like to think it's reasonable.
Half baked Jared.
That's
That's
it.
the there's a
HPJ.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm tired. These shows have been great. I'm just like, I don't know. We're coming into holiday season. I gotta like stop drinking. I gotta stop eating.
No, this is the time to start
That's
drinking.
the problem. Is I get to this point
like
in the
no
calendar.
one's ever like, oh, it's the holidays. It's time to. That's January.
I know. Well, this is the problem. I'm like, I'm not gonna enjoy it because I'm gonna feel like shit.
On your favorite holiday, you're
My
gonna not
favorite-
drink. I'm sorry. I'm like the worst person for like.
Well, I'm sitting
I'm
here.
an
I'm like,
enabler.
I'm exhausted. I got
But
all
you're
these
not gonna be any
decisions to
fun. No, I'm
make.
just
I don't
kidding.
know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You get to this part of the year and you're like, enough, Jared. And then you're like, I guess I'll push it till New Year, and then I'll do like my New Year resolution. Like I don't know. I'm in.
Well, why don't you not drink during the week?
Yeah,
right now?
it's a good point.
Right? That's
Yeah, you're right. And then I don't know.
But you're out every night. I get it.
I'm
That's
out.
The thing.
I don't know. I
When
can
you're
avoid
out,
it when
it's
when
like
it's
a-
just shows. But if like you meet up on a date, you go.
Would you ever have a mocktail?
No.
Okay.
I'd rather a water than a mocktail.
That's fair.
To be honest, like I'm like again going to my worst self, like to my almond mom self.
Mhm.
I'd be like,
You don't want the
what do I
calories.
calories? Why would
Yeah.
I if I'm not gonna drink?
I guess.
I don't know. It's an
Sometimes
all or
just-
nothing thing with me, and I hate that about myself.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of just like I've had them before. It's kind of like if I'm not drinking, I'm like it just feels nice to hold something.
Well, that's a big point.
You
That,
know?
the hand to mouth thing.
Yeah.
Like I think I have that with alcohol
You
more.
don't want to
Like, some
order
people-
a water. Like,
Right.
That just feels
sucking on
very
an ice
boring.
cube. Yeah, no, that's what people have with cigarettes. They
just want to hold something.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people get like a fake cigarette to like hold just to like that kind of
I
helps
get
them.
it. Yeah.
I get that too. Like the idea of like having a glass in your hand and like it kind of like takes up, this might, there's probably a therapist listening being like, you got a fucking problem. But like the idea that it like takes up the air of the
it gives you some. You're doing something around. it,
Right.
Yeah.
Ordering a drink is doing something. Having the drink is doing
Yeah.
something. What do you want is doing something. It breaks up the conversation.
I know you've always wished that you could be a smoker, despite your
I have wished that.
euconium in the womb.
People know. But I do have shows the rest of the year.
Where are
I'm
you headed?
crisscrossing this country.
Where are you going for the rest of 2023?
Hey,
Where are you
let me-
ending the year?
San Diego, great place to end the year.
That's nice. Any New Year's there?
Not New Year's, like the weekend of New Year's. So if like you want to like a New Year's weekend. So like my end of the year is pretty wild because I'm going to Toledo this weekend. But that was past. Okay, where am I going? Dania Beach, Florida. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know. I've never even heard of this town. It's between Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach. So I'm coming to Dania Beach for the weekend of Thanksgiving.
That's gonna be great. You can
That'll
with
be
your
great.
Parents.
I'm going to be on the West Palm News. I think when this comes out, I'll be
Wow.
on the news. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Is that like the CNN of Florida?
that's right. The
Yeah,
West
okay.
I'm on CNN of Florida. Portland, Oregon. So I go from Florida to Portland, Oregon. I cross the whole country. Phoenix, Arizona. So I got to come back and then go to Phoenix.
When are you in Phoenix?
The second weekend of December.
Okay.
Albany, San Diego, and Madison, Wisconsin. New York, Boston, Toronto,
in February.
Chicago, Minneapolis, Royal Oak, Michigan, Denver, Colorado, San
you-
Francisco.
do you ever-
JaredFree.com for tickets.
At this point, I don't know if you're gone for New Year's. Are you ever kind of like, I don't want to work on these holidays?
Yeah, of course. I think more now than I used to be. Like
I'm surprised it's not the other way around. Like
The-
there was probably more going on the younger you were around like New Year's or something, right?
what do you mean? Like more? I think I liked working New Year's. It made me have value.
Okay.
But now I'm like, I don't take the same value from working on New Year's that I used to. Like it used to be like, if you're not booked on New Year's, what are you doing? Now that I have the ability to be booked on New Year's, I go, maybe I should take that night.
Right.
And
You
I'll,
got
like-
nothing to prove.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this goes back to the drinking, not drinking. Like I'll enjoy a Thanksgiving drink if I just ease off the gas
Right.
now of the drinking.
I mean, I agree with that. Nothing. I mean, it always feels better to do something when you haven't done it in a while. It's like that
Right.
diminishing marginal returns. I think I've talked to Sammy about this. It's like the first drink of the vacation is the best drink.
Totally agree. That
Can-
plane drink,
Right.
you gotta drink on the plane, clink the glasses. You're like, let's have a bloody on the plane. You're like, wow, and then like by the time you're coming back, you're like, what the fuck? I was drinking on the plane on the way down there like an asshole.
I have to say, Mike once ordered a virgin Bloody Mary on a plane.
A
and
mocktail.
That was probably the closest to an ick I've gotten with him.
People do that on the people for some
like
reason they
just tomato
get
juice.
tomato juice in the sky. Is
I don't
something-
understand why.
They've said that like in the sky your taste buds change. Like
Oh.
that's why people get like ginger ale a lot when they fly.
I get that. Yeah, I get tea when I fly.
Tea.
Yeah, it's like the only time I drink tea.
What makes you do it?
It's like I think it's like usually cold on the. It's like the only hot drink they have that's not coffee. I guess.
And again, there's something to do to
Yeah.
go back to on a flight. I'm not even thirsty. Yeah, make me whatever. Let's do something.
Right. Yeah, the tomato juice is weird though, because he would never order that regularly.
It's a weird order. People do it a lot.
It's
More.
gross.
I see more tomato juice ordering on planes than I've ever seen anywhere else in my life.
Well, you would know.
I would know.
Yeah.
I'm about to know. I'm about to fly 7 different times across the country. I don't know.
That's your favorite though.
I do like being in the air. I do have a calmness when I'm flying.
Here's something we haven't discussed yet on the show. What are your thoughts on on all the Delta stuff going on?
Don't get me started. You know how many people have asked. They've now brought
Yeah.
it back a little bit.
Yeah, they've like reined it in. It's like they hired Tom Brady and then they just immediately started making terrible decisions.
Right. I've lost a lot of faith in one of my childhood heroes.
It's two
Childhood heroes
Delta.
coming together to
Right.
fuck me over.
Seriously.
Here's the thing, and it's funny when people get mad at a company. Like I
Right.
think that's always like dumb. The idea that any company is here for you is a wild amount of narcissism. Like
It's not the government.
right, it's even the government sometimes. Are they really there for us? You know,
That's what
like-
they're at least purporting to be.
right.
Right.
This is
It's not for
Del-
profit.
Right. Delta is going to do what does best for Delta. Here's the thing. Travel's changed. There's not a lot of me's. There's not as many me as there are the vacation traveler. So the idea of like the work traveler, like, you know, the banks aren't sending people across the country as much anymore. They're doing it on Zoom. The accountants aren't sending people across the country. They're doing it on Zoom. You know, like you've lost a huge portion of people. We're not going into the office anymore. So you don't have to be at the office in Des Moines when you live in New York.
Right.
So with that, now they've lost a big customer base. They're going to start charging up the ass for the weekend traveler.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bachelorette party. We go on more bachelor parties in other states than we ever have. So they're going to start charging those people up the ass. That's what I think JetBlue has like the company you hate most.
Yes.
JetBlue is kind of like, I think, the money maker in this whole thing. Like they're like,
Oh,
They're
because they're
doing
like
it
lower
right.
cost and more accessible.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like they want to serve the weekend Jim and Joe.
I can tell you, JetBlue is not doing it right.
So
I still
right.
have not forgiven them,
Right.
but I would fly there if it was the only company flying to the location that I wanted to go to.
Exactly. They got you by the
Right.
balls. so to
That's the
speak.
thing, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Delta thing bothers me, but like it's just an admission that like,
Well, it doesn't
hey,
really
our
affect
frequent
you,
flyers. No,
right?
not really.
Yeah.
I mean, like everyone's just gonna get less points. The thing is the gamification. I love the app, the gamification of it. Of like, I want to get to the next level. I fly them more. That's a part of it. So
Well-
now that you're not going to get as much the dopamine hit that you got before because you're getting less points. But it's just Delta making a business decision. Like,
But it doesn't affect. It really affects the people like. It affects more like people like me,
Right.
Who are like loyal to Delta, but aren't like constantly traveling, so they might not hit the. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna hit the.
You're
the
loyal for no
diamonds,
reason.
Whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm already hit it.
That's what I'm saying. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter for you. It more matters for me. I don't really care that much because I don't expect Delta to be like looking out for me and my points.
Tom's fucked us. This idea of like buy a shoe and it makes you a good person because we're gonna give one to a little,
Yeah.
Joey in Africa. Like it's just this. Now every company's that, and now we kind of expect this like humanitarian do right by me, and also we plant our flag places. I'm a Delta guy. I think everyone flying United is a fucking idiot. Like now I gotta like, oh okay, I guess
right.
I'm,
Yeah, do you feel
I
like
fucking
you
got
have to-
fucked over by
It
my
feels
wife.
like you're like the
Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed.
Yeah, the representative.
Right. I had a lot of people ask me about this. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad.
But I'm
they-
still Delta. I'm still going.
honestly, I'm still Delta too. But anyway, this is not about dating.
No. Let's talk about
Our
it.
emails-
Let's jump right
we
in.
have we have an SOS on Sunday, and if you would like to be an SOS caller live in person with us, or rather on Zoom, you can call us at 2.
Oh no,
no,
that's
that's
just for
different.
if you want to leave us a message.
That's if you want to leave us a voicemail. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can call us at 212-589-8903. If you want to be on SOS, send us your email with the SOS as the title to uup@betches.com. Also, check out the YouTube. We've been,
The YouTube people are
really
loving
all over
the
that.
Jorge episode, crushing the charts. It's just, I think that listen, there's still stuff for us to talk about in this dating world, this crazy mixed up dating world of ours.
We're having a lot of fun lately.
I sense it. Do I feel tired? Do I feel off?
No.
I don't know. Okay, good.
Does he? I don't know.
Does
Do
it?
you guys
You
think
guys-
he?
No.
No. Well, I guess what are they going to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, meaning to say something.
I would be like, let's restart over.
Right. Is hearing that you look tired as insulting to a man as it is a woman?
No,
Okay.
I've never. Jorge, no.
I've
never taken
Candace,
offense.
she agrees with me. I find if someone says you look tired, it's like very insulting.
Who the fuck are these people? Who says that to people? Like I have never thought to say unless they look fucking tired. You better be, have the Scrooge McDuck nightcap on for
with
me
your
to
eyes
say.
half open.
I think that sometimes men get brought into this world of the things that annoy women. And I agree. Listen, I guess now I'm going to sound. I'm not saying
It just means you look like shit. That's what it means, I guess. Yeah.
I get right, but that is only something like the meanest dude on the internet would say, and like
You look
other women
tired?
to each other. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never just I'm not going to say congratulations on your pregnancy. I'm not going to say you look tired. I'm not going to say are you tall? You're tall. I'm not going to
Right.
say anything.
Well, I
want nothing.
You know not what not to say. But you're not a person who's triggering people like I see on the oversharing emails.
Are they getting triggered there?
Yeah.
I've been listening.
Pregnant women get the most triggered, I think, by any commentary around
Pregnancy,
pregnancy,
tired.
stuff, which I get.
I just say nothing. I just want to sit alone on my phone, never bothered
Well, that's the
again.
thing.
I was at a bar last night. I was on my
But you're
phone.
a comedian, so do you ever get the urge to say something inappropriate?
I get to on stage every night.
Right. You
I
get it
can
all
look-
out of your system.
There were 4 women in the front in Baltimore, and they were in sweats, full-on sweatsuits. And I know that's like a Gen Z look.
Right.
But I said, I guess we don't dress up in Baltimore. I looked them right in the face, and I was like, yeah, I guess we don't dress up here. Thanks for wearing your sweatsuit out on a Saturday night. I guess this is what we do. And yeah, it was fun to tell them. I meant it.
That's a great point, though, because I think of you as particularly astute at knowing the right and wrong thing to say,
I am.
in person.
Thank you.
No, but I'm saying, and now it kind of makes even more sense because you do get to get that all out of your system.
Yes.
In that moment.
And
It's
I
very
know it's
funny.
funny for a group of people. I know how to make fun of someone, and hopefully they feel it's with love.
Right.
The hardest part about
But you're not.
roasting
If I wore
someone.
sweatpants in here, you wouldn't be like, "What are you wearing? Sweatpants?"
Never.
You would never say that.
No, no, not at all. But that's. I mean, to me, jokes are they're like it's a weapon that should be used
With responsibility.
with a lot of response.
It's
Exactly.
like driving a car.
It's a car. It's a weapon. It's
That's why you should need a license to do stand up.
Listen. I wish because that would have made it easier for me to know if I did okay or not.
Pass the test.
Right. So some people out there are delusional thinking they're funny.
Right.
How many people go to an office and they just spout out? And I'm like, how do you just talk like that? Like you have no thought? Like,
Right.
I don't know. Everything I say, I think 30 times about.
That's very true.
Yeah.
You
But
could be
that's
like
why
a
it's-
diplomat.
Well, that's why it's so frustrating when you hear negative responses like some of you say. You go,
Put a lot of thought into
I
that.
put some thought into
Right.
this. I didn't say things with no thought. And that's why when people are like, you get canceled for everything you say. Well, not really.
No. Yeah.
You
I
know?
think it's about the things people get the most upset about are the things that they're the most insecure about. And so
Right.
if there's a joke that's made and someone's insecure about something, then it's offensive.
Well, when I made fun of those girls for wearing sweatpants, and I think maybe it was DC that I said they looked like they were at a slumber party. It was something, and they looked at each other and laughed hysterically because
Yeah.
I think they had talked about it earlier that night. Like you could feel that they had already had.
For sure.
Look at we're a bunch of hampers.
Yes. Those are my people.
Your people.
I'm a hamper girl.
Hamper
also.
girls.
Look at
We
that
gotta start-
oversized sweatshirt.
Hamper girl winter.
Hamper girl. We should make a shirt. Hamper
I
girl.
love hamper girl.
Yeah.
I'm not a hamper guy. I get dressed. I put
Yeah,
on some
no, you do,
jeans. I don't
yeah.
like a.
I'm wearing Uggs. I'm a hamper girl.
Yeah, no.
Once you've got the Uggs on.
I'm a mid-level. Like,
I
never
love
go
to be
too-
comfortable.
You do.
Yeah, I'd prefer to be comfortable over like, especially if I'm out and about. Like if I'm in the city all day, I like want to be in.
See, to
walking
me,
around.
it's a combination of mind, body, and soul. Like if I don't put on jeans, I don't got jeans brain.
Right. I've never seen
got
you in
sweat
sweatpants.
brand.
I guess.
Sweat brain.
You're
Yeah,
like
sometimes I'll wear them on a flight, but even on a flight, jeans it up.
Okay, so you can't wear the hamper girl shirt then. You're
No.
you're not a member of the community.
The hampettes.
Yeah.
Let's go to the email.
Let's do
What
it.
are we talking about today? What are we talking about ever? What is this life?
We're talking about living
I
with
don't know.
someone.
I'm losing it. I'm losing
Yeah?
it. Yeah, this is my.
Are you having a quarter year crisis?
I
A
three-quarter
of the
year
crisis?
Yeah, this is my 3/4 year crisis. I am having it.
It's okay. You could still drink a little bit.
Thank you.
I give you permission. I should run a rehab center.
Right, just a little. Just have a drink
Why
to
don't
take
you
the
just
edge
have
off.
one?
Yeah,
Whatever.
It's just
Yeah.
one.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna get canceled. Okay. I'll read the first email. Hi J&J. Me and my boyfriend have been together for a year and a half. I'm 25 with my parents. I'm 25 living with my parents, and my boyfriend is 32 and has his own studio. Ooh. We're so mean.
This is about to be the mean
Okay.
episode. We're like, oh, hey, yo.
That's what happens when we're tired.
Right.
Okay.
We taped this after the Sunday special
Yes.
episode.
So don't think
there's
we're
a different
we're
vibe.
coming into this fresh.
No.
Okay.
We're hamper minds.
We live 25 minutes away from each other, and his place is less than 5 minutes away from my job. So here's my current issue that has been slowly made me get in my feels. I stay overnight at his place maybe 2 or 3 times a week, but I hang out there almost every day during my lunch hour. He has been bringing up jokingly, imagine every day during her lunch hour. I guess she goes home. She goes back to his lunch.
She sounds like a pain in the fucking ass. I have to say.
We haven't even finished the email.
I know, but
here.
I'm like, oh, it's all 25. You're at my place. I
think
during
it is
lunch.
every day.
Get out of here. Go to a Sweet Greens. Put on headphones. Sit alone like a normal fucking person.
I wonder if that was
Shout
his
out
response.
Sweet Green.
So I'm gonna come over today. Imagine getting that response.
Okay.
What the fuck are you
Sorry.
doing? Okay.
What are you doing here every day?
So she goes there every day on my lunch hour. He has been bringing up jokingly that I'm taking over his place and he needs to be free.
That ain't a joke, girl.
I have one tiny spot in his bathroom cabinet which only had lotion and a perfume.
That's not what it's about. Okay.
I don't keep my clothes there or anything major that could be considered taking over.
No, your presence is taking over. Your aura.
Are you speaking to
I'm
someone?
sorry. I'm so mad at her. This whole thing, like, oh, it's about, I don't have no clothes there. No, you're a year and a half in, and you're around. I'm sorry.
It's a crime, Jared. It's a crime. Okay.
Well, he's pushing away.
It's making me feel unwelcome and that our talks of living together one day are not real. I told him last night, how does he expect us to live together one day? He brings this up in a joking way, but it's slowly making me question whether he's even ready to live together. I've been the only one wanting to integrate. Have I been the only one wanting to integrate into each other's lives? We have met each other's family and friends. He is joining me to go to my cousin's wedding in Mexico, and I will be meeting his dad for the first time in the same trip. So why is this joke of taking over his place bugging me so much? Any advice is greatly appreciated.
It's a good email.
Yes.
I know I gave a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
Can I just say it's a good email?
it is a good email. Jared apologizes.
I apologize.
Ish,
Well, I
ish.
mean what I say.
Right.
I'm my thing.
He does think you're annoying, but he said it's sorry that's what he thinks.
Well, this is the thing. She's like chosen facts to lean on that don't matter.
What doesn't matter?
I only take a little space
Oh,
up
that
in
I
the,
agree,
the
right.
bathroom, and he's met meeting your friends and family is a step. I'm not saying it isn't, but this is meeting his dad in Mexico. That's a step, but I think all steps are not the same for everybody.
Right.
Like again, if I were in this guy's position, it sounds like he's letting you know he's not ready. I make
Right.
jokes to tell the truth, as
Okay.
we said in the beginning. If you're in your sweatpants, oh my God, what is this, a slumber party?
Right.
You look like shit on a Saturday night.
I mean,
There are
that's
two ways to take it.
yeah, that's the truth.
That's the
Yeah.
joke. The joke is made based on the truth of most people on a Saturday night get dressed up or get dressed a little or even make some effort.
Right.
and this is that's where the joke lies. So the joke he's making is to deliver him. And I've done this. Joking is not a good way to communicate. I've learned that. It's taken me a long time to learn that.
To someone you're dating.
Right. To someone you're
Or is
dating,
it-
I'm a fucking jester.
Right.
I'm making jokes about everything, but trying to like hint, this is how I really feel.
Yeah.
And I will say, if the way this guy's acting, 32, studio, again, if I was in his position, the reason I'm getting annoyed at her is because like I'm putting myself in his position. I'm like, yeah, he has to make all the decisions, and you're just like, oh, I'll just, I'm 25.
What
It's
decisions
all,
does he have to make though?
the decision is like, if he allows this to happen passively, as he kind of is now, come over every lunch, it means something to her, and it's not just a place to stay. And she's admitting that by writing in and saying, I'm taking this kind of behavior as maybe he's not ready to
Well,
move in.
that's what I'm saying. She's thinking that, but she's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Right.
But I'm saying it's kind of like, but
it's annoying. But he's annoying too, because he's
course.
not just saying, "This is a little much for me." Instead, he's, "Oh, you're taking over my space."
Right.
Like,
He's trying to be nice.
but that's worse.
So
So
I'm with
she's
you.
annoying, but he's more annoying, I think, because it's like, what is she supposed to do with that information? If she doesn't, if she's not told, it's too much for me, or I'm not ready to go there, then, and she's brought up living together, and she's saying, "Oh, are you not ready to live together?" And he's not saying anything. Like, what else is she supposed to do?
Well, I guess my annoyance with her is she's building up this case in other ways that have nothing to do with moving in. When she says, well, I'm 5 minutes from work. That's not, I really like you, so I want to be at your place during lunch.
I feel like that's implied, isn't it? Why else would she be at his place during lunch?
But that's the same thing as like, what, you don't want to move in now because, do you know?
You're saying she's not being explicit about what she wants?
She's asking.
Well, what's your advice to her?
My advice to her is it's like,
Eat lunch at your desk.
I guess, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I do have this feeling of like, you can't tell me, well, I only have 2 things there, but also I want to move in. Like, I want to make sure we're on the right track.
So
like,
what should she tell him?
using one to like, she's used these like, I'm there 2 to 3 times a week, and I hang there every day during lunch. We live 25 minutes away from each other. His place is less than 5 minutes away from my job. Like, those are like, she's giving these logistics as reasons for why she's there all the time. She's there all the time because she likes him and she's trying to get closer.
Right.
Too. Like, it's not because you're 5 minutes. If you were 30 minutes from his, I guess it's like if you were 30 minutes from, if his place was 30 minutes from where she worked, I guess I wouldn't be here. But that wouldn't mean that they're not as serious.
I'm confused. Like, what do you think she should? You think she should? How should she do this differently? Then I don't.
I think there's just a mix going on that he's not really admitting to being a more serious. Like, she's merging her life with him, and he is
Not stopping her.
not stopping her,
Right.
and also not doing the merging that she's doing. They're not equal merges.
Right. But I think, like, as annoying as you think she is, I think the fact that he's not he's just kind of like letting himself be annoyed, not actually addressing the thing, and then she's left to just kind of try to figure out what he's thinking.
Right. But I think
It's not really fair.
I think he also doesn't really. He's like, okay, yeah, come over. Of course, I like you, and then not really.
Then don't talk shit about the stuff in the drawer.
I don't think he's admitting to how. I think he's realizing the walls are getting closer around him when they've already gotten there. I don't think he does one thing to mean the next, and I don't think guys, me particularly in this situation, you go, holy fuck, I guess we are a year and a half in. I guess you do come here every day. Like, these things are going to be used against him, even though he didn't. And I agree, he's not right. I'm not saying he's not at fault.
I guess this sort of speaks to the larger issue of like, how do men and women both attempt like this next phase?
Mm-hmm.
How are they deal with them? It sounds like you're saying for men it's happening to them, and a woman is like facilitating it. She's like doing this to him, and he has to like opt out or not do anything.
Well, that's kind of what she wants.
But no, I think she wants him to opt. She wants to feel like he's opting in.
Yeah.
She wants to feel like he's like, oh yeah, let's like, I can't wait for you to move in. Like, I love when you're here. Like, come over every day for lunch. Which
Right.
I have to say, coming over every day for lunch is a bit much at any point in a relationship, no matter how serious. I have to like, I wouldn't want to eat lunch with someone every day.
Well, I guess that comes back to the advice part. Like, if you're really negotiating, it's like almost like they're having this negotiation without saying there's a negotiation going on, and that's the annoying part. Is like He's like, you're not
asking me to opt in, and you're opting in, but not asking me to opt in, and she's like, well, you're not opting out.
Right, right, and if she said to him, is me coming over for lunch every day like a lot? I'm gonna stop coming for lunch every day.
See how he reacts.
Right. And hey, I'm getting the feeling that me coming over for lunch every day is making you annoyed because you make these jokes, and I'm going to do a little bit less. But also, I want to know that, like, I'm dating someone who's looking towards when we're going to move in.
And what would you say to that if you were him?
I would say I need to think about it. I would say, or I guess the question becomes, hey, when do you see us moving in? Hypothetically.
Right.
And you have to have an answer to your own question.
Yeah.
I think that's the only fair thing.
An answer that you're willing to work with.
Yeah, I guess. Like, if you say, how do you envision us moving in together? You have to also have a vision.
Yeah.
You can't say that without saying, well, I envision the end of this year, when your lease comes up, that we would talk about moving in and finding a place together.
Yeah, and then see how he reacts to that information. Does it make him want to throw up, or does it make him, excited? You can sense that.
Right. You're going to sense it right away.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like, I guess the annoying part is like, he's not thinking. If I'm him, I'm like, oh, she came over. Yeah, can I come over for lunch today? Is like, yeah, of course. Oh, you're 5 minutes away in the beginning.
Right.
And then it becomes every day. And then you go, and they go, well, when do you see us moving in? And you're like, I guess I haven't thought about it. And then they're like, well, you let me over for lunch every day. And you go, I guess, like, you're not wrong.
Well, it's just kind of like, why do I have to, I could see why she's like, why do I have to ask you that? Why can't, if you don't want to do that, why don't you, as an adult, just tell me you don't want to do that?
Right.
Why do you have to wait for me to like, wait for the big bomb to drop so you can reject me? Like, why not just proactively say something?
Right.
And I understand why. It's like, because it's harder to do that. It's never fun to tell someone something they don't want to hear. That's the truth of life.
And if he was excited about moving in with someone, you wouldn't have to ask this question.
That's the thing.
If he was like thinking of the next thing and thinking of like life in those ways.
Well, that's why she's not asking the question, because she doesn't want the answer.
Right. And instead she's moving in under the cover of night, little by little. She's,
before he knows it, we'll be married.
Yeah. Before he knows, he's like, how did I end up in this tux? I've been putting it on you over the course of the year.
I mean, sometimes I think that in a lot of relationships, it feels like that.
Right. I'm sitting here like getting.
Well, that's why we always talk about like when the guy makes you break up with yourself.
Right. Because you're just ignoring this the clock. The clock exists for everyone. Mm-hmm. You feel the clock. He's making these jokes because tick, 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 tick.
Right. Well, it's like, figure out what you want and then
And I guess, and I guess like this might, make people mad, but I guess, I don't know why anyone would get mad, but like societally, we're generally not asked to give any timelines, men. Like, this isn't
for work.
Maybe for work, but like, I think that's like intrinsic.
You mean like to other people,
Like
your
our
peers?
friends.
Yeah.
Like, when do you see yourself getting married? I don't know. Does that come up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like,
don't ask that?
it's really not a.
You never been like, oh, you've been dating someone for a while. You ever like, what do you?
That
Yeah.
question comes up, but it's usually because the guy's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Right.
It's always late in the
Yeah.
in the way that this conversation.
It was funny when I first started dating Mike. One of his friends was like I just met one of his friends. He was telling me about his girlfriend, and we were all sitting around a table. And I was like, "Oh, like together 5 years? You gonna propose?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think so." And then there was the first time any of his friends
Right.
had heard. Like I was the one for having first met him who like had him reveal that
Right.
thing, which is just so crazy to me because it would never be like that.
Well, that's kind of this situation. She's like, he's 32. He's got a studio. It's 5 minutes from like you're not putting this all together. And I don't think anyone else but your significant other looks at you and goes, what's the next thing? You know, like,
Right.
what are you doing? You know,
Well,
I don't know.
She's being asked constantly.
Right. And then it gets trickled down to him in this like, well, I'm there every day, 2 to 3 times. Are you not even thinking of this? And it's softer to him than it is to her from other people.
Well, moral of the story, explicitly ask for what you would like. Very difficult thing to do, on both sides.
It's hard.
Explicitly say what you want and what you don't want, potentially harder.
I'm getting a stomach ache just talking about this for this guy. Like, I'm like, hey, you're fucked. Because she's got a great case.
Then let her.
That's why I'm annoyed at her.
have
She's
him-
got a great case. She's like, you live 5 minutes from where I work. I'm living with my parents. You're
Let me in.
32.
Right.
What the fuck? Like, that's why I'm annoyed with her.
Because she's right.
She's right.
Yeah.
She's right. And the only way she's
we've
wrong.
We've gotten to the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You got me. You're right, bitch. Is that what you want to hear?
You're in danger, sir.
Yeah, it's over for you. Because the only answer is break up
Yeah.
for him.
Or move in.
Or you got a new
Move in, start a
roommate.
family.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's over. You know, go off to.
Well, those are kind of the two options. It's over. Or
That's why
together
when people
forever.
are like, you know, when you hear the story that, oh, I was blindsided. I thought we were moving in and now we're broken up. It's like, well, there were only 2 answers on the fucking test. Break up or move in.
Right, but you're not.
Beware of move-ins. Beware of birthdays. Beware of vacations.
Beware of Fridays.
Fridays, Monday,
Sunday.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Never let your guard down.
Beware of Thanksgiving.
Morning of your wedding day.
Right.
First child. Beware.
Beware. We're switching shit up all the time.
You know,
Look at us.
Candace has her
Candace.
creative juices flowing.
She's
She's keeping the show on its toes.
That's right. I like it because you got these lightning round questions, and they're Thanksgiving specific. When does this come out? Oh, we're heading towards it, November 15th.
A week before Thanksgiving Eve.
This is when this podcast should be shared.
Yes.
You have a friend who's going home and they're trembling. They're like, "What?
Ooh.
Oh my God! I gotta talk to Aunt Stacy. How will I ever tell them I'm single?"
Yeah.
Send them this fucking podcast.
Just do it. All right. Yeah. Play it while you guys are preparing the Thanksgiving feast.
Play this for them. First Thanksgiving with significant other's family, okay? Here's the question. What's the minimum amount of time dating or level of seriousness before it's acceptable to invite someone to meet the family / come over for Thanksgiving? So what do you think, timing-wise? When would you bring them home?
You have to be in a relationship explicitly.
You
I
have,
would say.
both parties have to admit they are in a relationship. Yes.
I think that needs to be out there.
There's a PEMDAS to this whole thing. That is the order of operations.
Yes.
If you haven't called them a boyfriend or girlfriend,
Don't invite them anywhere.
you ain't meeting pops. Yeah.
Or Thanksgiving, where it's like you should want to spend Thanksgiving with your own family unless you are in a relationship. And even then, sometimes you want to spend Thanksgiving with your own family.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, this is like when you become an adult,
Yeah.
you gotta like hold in farts for the fucking weekend.
I don't think there's a minimum amount of time. If you're in a relationship after a month or 2 months,
There's
Fine.
no rule.
Yeah.
Are you in a relationship? And I guess I don't know. Age kind of factors in too.
I guess it's the older you are, the more like meaningful that it would be.
I
Right.
guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's a hard one to answer because like I'm sitting here 38. I'm like, I'm still talking like I'm in fucking college.
Right.
Someone's like, what are you
My
doing for
mom will
Thanksgiving?
pick us up.
Right.
and
I'm
then
going
your
home
mom
for
can
fall
drive us
break.
home.
Like I'm an idiot. I don't know.
Well, I think it's kind of like, yeah, but I think if you're explicitly in a relationship, you can ask someone to come meet your family or go to theirs. But I would say not meeting someone's family when you're haven't been in a relation, or not spending Thanksgiving with someone when you're in a relationship is not a red flag.
No. I got my shit planned.
Yeah.
You know, Thanksgiving, when is it planned? Months ahead. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. First Thanksgiving with significant other's family. What should I bring? Should I offer to help with the cooking when we get there?
I think you got to offer, but don't press.
Agreed.
If there's
Don't make it
anything-
weird.
Yeah, don't make it weird. Anything, can I do anything? I think an
Yes.
overlapping, can I do anything? Is there anything you want me to help with? And I think you keep it vague. Anything I can help with. I don't think you go,
When you get there, that's what you say.
right.
When they're done, if you see someone clearing the dishes, I would get up and attempt to help until they tell you, if they're normal,
Right.
please
sit. Please.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my
Normal
move.
people. How can but I always keep it vague. I get up. How can I help? Use
Yes.
me. I'm the donkey.
Mhm.
You know, put
That's
some
yeah.
bags on my back.
You gotta
please.
offer. Goes a long way.
How can I help? Is there anything I can do? And what do you bring?
If they take you up on it, you leave. I'm just
You're at the wrong family.
Yeah. I bring a bottle of wine,
Bottle
a
of wine,
dessert,
dessert, from somewhere specific that you
Yeah.
got a story to tell.
not from like Dunkin' Donuts. Like bring it, from somewhere near you, a little
Tell a story.
your favorite pastry shop in your neighborhood.
There you go. And make it up.
Oh, I love this place.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it makes it easier. Oh my God. I go there every Tuesday. I can't avoid their cupcakes. And it's my Tuesday cupcake spot. I wanted you guys to try it. And then there you go. Look
There
at,
you
you
go.
got a special story.
We just solved-
Flowers, I think, is nice.
Flowers is nice, but then you're kind of, the only thing about flowers is like when you bring them, you're kind of giving the person a job.
Right.
Like figure out where to put these. Where's the vase? I don't know. Like,
Here's a new baby.
do you know what I mean? When you get, I
Right,
mean,
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
really receive flowers that much.
I don't
but
get a lot of flowers. I know.
it's a little bit of a chore when you get the flowers.
If someone gave me flowers, I'd be like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And then, like 2 minutes later, I'd be tossing them in a garbage can. I'd be like, "What a fucking waste of money on me."
That's so sweet. So you know what not to bring to
My house,
Jared's house
when I'm
What would you-
cooking for you.
What would your parents admire the most?
We're such a bad gift family.
Like bad at getting gifts or giving
Receiving, giving.
gifts? Oh, right, you don't do gifts.
We
You
just
buy
not.
shit.
No one gives a shit. Yeah,
Okay.
no one.
They wouldn't appreciate like if
My mom would talk shit on any gift.
didn't-
Not my taste.
but if
That would
someone
be
didn't bring
her
one, wouldn't she
response.
talk about that more?
Yes.
Okay.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's why she's the
Not
hardest
my
person.
taste?
It's not my taste. That's
Even
her
a nice
respond to
bottle
it.
of wine.
Wine. What is this? You know, she would make fun of everything you've done. Anything someone does for my family gets made
Right.
fun of.
Well, I was saying in my family,
What
because
would they-
there's so many people,
Right? What do you?
no
even
one
do?
even notices that you brought something.
Right.
That's when met my family, he was
On
like,
deaf ears.
should I get kosher wine? I'm like, no, no one gives a shit. And also, like, no one's going to even take it from you. You're just going to have to put it down. No one's going to even know who it's from.
He couldn't even zone in on your mom. I feel like he could zone in on your mom with something.
I guess.
That's the thing. You buy for the mom.
Right.
That's what you do.
He could give it. I guess I'm like, as long as you bring something,
Right.
that's really all you need to do.
Bring
It's a
something,
gesture.
show it to them, put it directly in the garbage. It's
As soon as they
It's
leave.
really is all. It's like going home for the holidays in general. My mom's like, "When are you leaving?" Like just me. Literally, all I have to do is touch home, and then I've done my job.
So you never bring anything to any dinner.
I'll bring it. You know, I've brought stuff. I'm not. I'd like to think that I'm a gentleman and a mensch, but who knows?
You bring some products from this podcast sponsored.
Here's your Stanley. Here's your Stanley. There's your Stanley.
Like
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Stanley Claus.
Stanley Claus.
Just
love
giving
it.
out
There's a
Stanleys.
good segment we should pitch.
Ah, ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
You do a good Santa. Maybe we should dress up for
I didn't even
a
do it
Christmas
right.
episode.
I'll dress up as Santa and we give out gifts to dating things. Dating it. Let's
I like
do that.
that.
I like this.
Let's
It's a good
do
segment.
that. We'll do it.
Let's
for
do
the,
it. Ho, ho, ho. It's
the most magical time of the year.
I love Christmas.
I love Christmas too.
Jews love Christmas.
I did love it more before I celebrated.
You did. I'm sure, right?
Because it's like it's
The
more,
greatest part about being Jewish on Christmas is having nothing to do or nobody to do things for.
Yeah. Now I got like a whole list
Checking it twice.
Seriously, there's so many gifts. So
Who
many
do you got?
people.
Who's on the list?
Everyone that's at any of these events. It's like,
Oh my god.
it's the whole family. It's,
I'm more
you know, I
stressed
have
out
a new
than that
niece.
guy who has to
It's
move
my
in
new
with his
niece.
girlfriend. New niece?
Yeah, new niece. She's gonna get. She's gonna.
How old is
she's
she?
gonna make out like crazy. She's like 11 months.
Oh, you don't have to. She's not
9
gonna remember
months.
this shit.
I know, but it's like
parents do.
you gotta show.
And you want kickbacks when you're having your kid.
Exactly. You gotta start running up your tab.
This is how-
Keeping
I guess
score.
we're not really doing much for Jews on Christmas. We're like,
You gotta spend all this money.
You gotta get me back. I
Oh,
gotta
it's
make sure
funny.
people are buying me shit.
It's very funny actually though. now that we have a house, I
Yeah.
was like to Mike, I'm like, well, one day we can maybe like next year we can host. And I'm like, but like we could just get it catered. Like I don't want to make any. He's like, what? He's like, no, you are gonna get like extremely judged if you host a catered.
A cake. That's how you do it.
That's what I'm saying, right? I'm like,
Why
no,
would you
no
do it?
muss. No, you think
No
I'm gonna be like
fuss, no
sitting? You
muss.
think I'm gonna be like cooking all day? Like, what are you talking
Right.
about?
What's this dream that you've? Who have you been dating the last? Right? He doesn't think of you as like being able to like do right.
Well, that's what he's like. I think I'm just gonna take over the like.
Would he cook the turkey?
He would sooner cook than I would. Yeah, he's a much better host than me for sure.
See, I would.
But it was
I would
funny.
get
I
it
was
catered.
like, yeah, we'll just get catered. He's like, no,
Right.
like everyone will judge you. It will be.
You'll be talked
terrible.
about.
Yeah, it'll be talked about. You couldn't even cook a meal.
That's the problem. It's like this is the problem with the holidays.
He's gonna cook it and then pretend I did. Probably.
Did you taste Jordana's turkey? Yeah.
Whenever we host, I'm like, I'm gonna make my special dip, and the special dip is the onion powder.
Oh.
You know, like the sour cream.
Right,
You book
right,
the two
right.
things together in the
It's
bowl,
over.
and then it's done.
French's,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I call it my special dip.
I like it. Jordana's special.
And then
dip.
whenever we go to any of his parents for the holidays, I'm like, does your mom want me to bring my special dip?
I'm expecting some special dip here.
I'll bring it to our
on
holiday
Christmas episode.
celebration.
Yes.
All right. Okay. We got another one. What's an appropriate amount of time to endure the torture for myself and my significant other without being rude to my family?
I don't understand
What
that
does
one.
that
I
even
read that
mean?
before. Candace, what do we?
Like, how long do you have to stay?
We had a couple like this, and it kind of plays into the next question too. I think it's like if their family's going to be weird towards the person that they're dating, or ask like annoying questions, or like,
How long?
so when do you want to
stay?
get married and have kids? Yeah. So like, how long do they have to subject themselves to if they have to go to Thanksgiving?
Oh, I think when you get to Thanksgiving with someone's family, and I think this goes into the next question. Should I warn my significant other about my family drama or weird family members beforehand? I think everyone deserves a rundown.
Oh, yeah.
I think when
You can't go in cold.
No,
That's
no,
crazy.
No. The idea that when you're going to someone's home, when you're bringing someone home,
You need to be briefed.
you need a brief.
Yeah.
Give us the rap sheet. When are we coming? When are we leaving? I think those are two.
Yeah. Because there's two different kinds of families. There's
Right.
like we spend all day
Mhm.
together and we can't leave until tomorrow. We're sleeping here.
We can't leave until our bodies explode from the farts we've held in.
That's how you phrase it?
Yes, that's some families. Yeah. No, but you're right. And then there's other families that are like dinners at
Dinner.
5.
We're done by 8. Bye.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So you have to, you got to have a plan.
Here's my dad is, he likes this stuff. He's very nice, but he might say something inappropriate. Just ignore it.
Right. No, I remember that we had, I remember growing up, we went to my grandparents' house and my dad has 3 siblings. So it was like a lot of cousins, a lot of people. And then my grandparents always had people. They would always just have people over. And there was one family, they brought their kid and the kid sat in my grandfather's chair at the table and
wow.
no one said get the fuck up. So he was not happy about
Your
this.
grandpa.
I guess the idea that he even had to say anything. And I just remember him sitting with me. I'm one of 30 cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there with
Just talking shit about this kid.
he's this fucking kid won't sit, is in my chair. And he's at the kids table. He was so mad that
Oh,
he's
wow.
with me.
Yeah.
And I'm this guy never even talks
Sounds like he
to
loves
me.
children.
Right?
Who are you?
Who is this guy? I remember just being 8 and he's this fucking kid is in my chair. I'm Me? You're confiding in me.
It's a very funny core memory.
It is a core
Meeting
memory.
your grandpa for the first time.
Yeah, I got to know the real him, and he was so mad at this. And I know I'm thinking of the person right now who sat in his chair. He was like, "Fuck this bitch."
You should text the person.
We
still remember.
They wouldn't stop texting if I did.
Oh.
I know. Yeah, and so it's like, listen,
But if your grandpa has a special chair, I would say
Right.
don't sit at that chair because that's grandpa's chair.
I did this once with. I remember when Michael Che. I opened for him. This was like a decade ago in Boston, and I was driving us back to go back to New York, and he was like, "Come on, let's just go back." And I was like, "No. You got to come to my parents' house. My parents are like going to put out, breakfast." There's a whole story. This is a whole story, but I'm not going to get into like the actual story.
Okay.
But I remember as we're driving to my parents' house in Needham, this is like a decade ago, and he had just headlined, and I opened for him that weekend. I go, here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk in the house. My mom's going to give you a tour of the house. Just take the tour. You're going to come back to the kitchen table. There's going to be bagels. There's going to be lox, and I'll get us the fuck out of there. And I was like, just
Right.
go along with me getting the fuck out of there. And I remember we walked in. Everything went as I said it would go. So maybe you don't know how your family is,
that.
but like
Right.
when you're on your way to your house and you've
Because they're not going to
invited someone.
facilitate you leaving. They're not going to be
No.
like, well, Jared, like, we should go.
Right. You don't want to put them in that position.
Yeah.
So make sure you know whoever you're bringing home, what the characters at play, the wild cards, the people who say shit and do weird shit,
Yeah.
the chairs they should sit in, the chairs they shouldn't sit in, how you think the day is going to go, and what time you'd like to hypothetically leave.
I like that.
That's in your
and bringing it back
responsibility.
to 1B, what would your mom like?
right.
What do you think would be a
and
good
if you,
gift?
If you
for-
bring something, she hates wine,
Yeah, just so you know.
hates
right.
flowers,
Right.
loves crystals. I don't fucking know. She's a fucking weirdo who likes crystals.
Yes, she's just like me.
Sorry.
No, I'm a weirdo too. Okay.
As the sole single family member or newly single post engagement.
Ooh.
Hey, that's a brutal one. How do I address the tough questions from my family? This is the main Thanksgiving question that we get.
The typical.
I'm single. I'm going home for the holidays.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. Here's the reality. You got to talk about it.
You need a few canned answers.
Absolutely.
Right.
Do you have a good
Are you
canned
seeing-
answer?
Are you seeing anyone? I'm dating around no one really special at the moment.
Well, here's the thing. If you're miserable in answering this question, all of these people here are people that could maybe set you up. They're, to me, let's look at it
If
positively.
you're miserable, only if you're miserable.
Right. Well, if you're miserable, they ain't going to set you up with shit.
Right.
Oh, I saw cousin
But do you want-
Stacy this weekend. She's single.
Here's the thing.
I know exactly why.
As
You
someone
know?
who's had people try to set her up in her family, anyone over the age of 50 is terrible at setting people up.
I'm with you.
They
I
have no
agree.
sense of your taste. They have no sense. They're kind of like, here's a single person because they always know one. This person is breathing. This person is alive. Maybe they have a job. Perfect match for you.
Right.
That's the only thing they think about.
Right.
And so,
You're not a woman who gets wet.
or cares about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Who cares? Just be with this human and shut the fuck up.
Yes.
That's what older people
because they
wanna
think
do.
they have the solution. So I
Right.
wouldn't go in expecting any setups unless you're meeting some friends of a friend or something.
But my point is, negativity won't do well.
No, positivity. But you don't have
Always
to talk
positive.
about shit extensively. I think you can have an answer that doesn't lead itself to more questions.
So, how are you seeing anybody? No, I'm just having a really good time meeting new people. It's been a lot of fun dating. Boom.
There you go.
Period. End of sentence. Don't go.
Yeah. What happened to that guy that you were engaged to?
What happened to that guy you were engaged to? How would I answer?
Or whatever, more commonly, what happened to your boyfriend? He was here last year.
I realized he wasn't the match for me. So now I'm single and I've been having a really good time dating.
I like that. Just end every sentence with "I've been having a really good time."
Right. I've been having a really good time dating. What do you mean a good time? I'm getting my dick sucked every night. Is that what you want to hear, Aunt Joyce? Is that what you're looking for? Is that what you want to know? And then they go, what? What do you mean?
You're
How
just
about
like
you shut the fuck up and you eat your mashed potatoes? That's how
That's how to
I
keep
would
it
answer.
positive, right?
Right.
Yeah. Love it. Good luck. I agree with you though. Keep it positive.
Keep it positive.
Yeah. Because people because that's where you feel like you're getting gossip if someone has like any kind of negative spin towards anything.
If you show any
They'll
negativity,
grab onto it.
they'll grab on.
Well, what
oh,
happened?
What happened? Oh no, you know, you're never gonna find someone.
It's
Are
over
you
for you.
lonely? Right.
All right.
I was. Hey, Aunt Joyce, how's you and Aunt Kevin doing, or Uncle Kevin?
Yeah. Are you still in couples therapy?
Yeah, you still fucking? But you mind your
Turn
own
it
fucking
around.
business.
Turn it around.
Hey, Grandpa Willie, shut the fuck up.
They would be like, "Who are you?"
What
It's
are
your
those blue
grandpa.
pills I saw on the counters? I guess you and Grandma still fucking. You gonna talk about it with me?
It's a great way to set yourself up for success.
Right, getting that will. I don't know. What would you say? How about like the people who come at you with negativity? That happens too. I heard.
just
I heard
worried
these
about
dating
you.
apps are hard.
Right. I've actually been having a pretty good time on them.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Works for me.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. What about cousin who's married and wants to ask you if, hey,
What's it like out there?
is it as fun as they?
Or you're just like any woman over 60 thinks that your life is like Sex in the City.
Yeah, that's funny. How's New York?
How are the Cosmopolitans?
They're delicious. While my young stallion of a boyfriend goes down on me.
There you go.
Just Cosmos every night.
Yeah.
Pussy fest every weekend. I'm off the rails. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Are you tired? I'm just
Thanks for asking.
You look great.
Thank you.
All right. Let's do another email. It's about
Let's
the
do it.
holidays. Go figure.
So my boyfriend and I, both 24, have been together for over 2 years. Things are going great. Last year, my boyfriend came to my family's Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Wow.
Thanksgiving was planned, but he only ended up coming to Christmas last minute because some travel logistics falling through. I'm close with my family. I really value the time I spend with them on the holidays. I look forward to seeing them and our holiday traditions. He is not as close with his family, but has an okay relationship with them. I have spent some time with them outside of the holidays, including a family trip last winter. Early in October, my boyfriend brought up that he wanted me to come to his family's holidays this year. I said I would rather do them separately with our own families than miss my family's because I would feel really guilty for not going, although he is welcome at mine. He was kind of hurt by this, and I said I'd think about it. I honestly don't get the big deal of needing to be at the holidays together. We are young, and although our relationship is pretty serious, it feels like it isn't serious enough to need to spend Thanksgiving together. Why can't I spend time with his family when I'm not missing an important day with mine? Am I being selfish? Best see you next year. What do you think?
I don't think she's being selfish.
I don't think so at all.
I think she could say, "You're welcome to come to mine." If
Well,
you want.
that's kind of
Yeah.
that's the difference between serious relationship and not serious relationship.
Right.
Not to put it that bluntly, but like when I think the only mistake she makes in her email is speaking for him and his relationship and his family. To
What did
say
she say
that
about that?
he likes them okay.
Right.
Like
He doesn't even like us as much as I do.
right. She's
Yeah.
kind of done this measuring contest of like
He's not as
who-
close.
Right. And it's like, don't do that. Own
Yeah.
it. You love Thanksgiving with your family.
Right. And you don't want to
And-
change that
and-
right now.
End of fucking sentence.
But I can also, so you're saying it's not that serious because she's like, it's not a priority for her. Is that what you're saying?
No, I guess it becomes I love Thanksgiving with my family.
Right.
I'm not gonna give that up. That's really
Ever.
ever.
Ever. It's never
Ever.
happening.
I'm gonna look Anna Lane in the eyes and tell her I'm
Well,
fucking everything.
You like Thanksgiving. That's your favorite holiday,
Love
right? You've drawn
Thanksgiving.
a line in the sand. That is your favorite holiday. You
That's
love
it.
spending it with your family.
Yes, and I love it even more now that we're in Florida.
Right.
Great beach
Ugh,
weather.
That's so I'm jealous.
Oh, me tan as fuck.
Ugh, I need to. Like, already looking at myself in the mirror as a pale person. I think, but here's the thing. Let's say you got married. Someone's like, "All right, I want half the Thanksgivings."
It would be. I would go. Well, what about yours that I need to see?
Would you be like? Would you offer up a different holiday?
Well, I would say, well, why? And they go, well, I love my family. Okay. We got any events you're gonna try and get me over there with?
You need to be sold on it.
I would need to be sold on why this is like so important. And if they were like, well, I like to see my siblings and they got kids and we're not gonna do Christmas, why would I do that? And I'll come with you to your family thing. I'm kind of thinking that we would do this in exchange. It's got to be a negotiation.
Yeah. But I agree at 24, it doesn't have to be.
No.
She could say,
hey, I have a really good time at my family's place.
It's not like we're married. We can do Thanksgiving apart. I'll see you
the next week.
Yeah.
That Sunday. I'll come back. Or like,
Or I think she's got to invite him, though.
That was the other thing. I would love for you to come to mine, but I really love being at home for Thanksgiving. It's something I really like.
Right.
And if she's not willing to extend the invite, then you go, maybe that's why he was disappointed.
Yeah. I think that's the insult. Because if someone didn't, it'd be one thing to not have someone accept my invitation. But
right.
If they weren't like, but you're welcome to come to mine, I think that would be hurtful.
That would kind of let me know that like, oh, you don't want me there.
Right. It's not about like wanting to be with your family. It's about you not wanting me there.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So she did invite him.
Right.
He is still hurt, but that's fine. Like maybe
Right.
he's saying this relationship is a little more serious to me than it is to her. Which again, they're 24. I think it's okay. She's perfectly within her rights to be like, we're young. We've got potentially like, I don't know if they've talked about that, potentially our whole lives together. Like I think for now we can do our own thing.
And right. And I think owning this is something that goes in kind of my non-negotiables. Like
for now.
Anyway. Right. The way this relationship's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can revisit when we're engaged.
Right. If there's a grandkid involved and you go, well, I want my parents never get to see the grandkid.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of a different
I think
discussion.
when your kid's involved and you're like you're a family of yourself, it's weird to not spend the holidays with your family.
Right.
So you can't really go to separate holidays when you have your own kids. I think that's weird.
Right.
Like if your parents were at each of their separate grandparents' things for Thanksgiving.
When does that end?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't happen.
No.
You could even go when you're married, I guess, to separate things, although
I don't know.
Might be kind of weird.
It'd be a little weird.
Yeah.
You gotta start divvying that shit up.
Right. At what point would you think it was weird to not go to each other's Thanksgivings?
Engaged.
That's fair. I
Right.
think that's true. The J&J etiquette rules should be it's only 100% necessary to do Thanksgiving together once you get engaged.
Right. Otherwise, it's like you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not a good answer.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like
this podcast.
It's just kind of like it's okay to do it's not a sign of things not
going well.
Not going well.
Right.
To do that.
I'm the person who's like, I'm going home.
You're either with me or you're not. No.
All right, let's play some games. This episode is sponsored by TheraBreath. We have a little insider secret for your pre-date checklist. It's TheraBreath. TheraBreath Fresh Breath Oral Rinse gives you up to 12 hours of fresh breath so you never have to feel nervous about getting close to your crush. TheraBreath has a variety of products that can even improve your gum health and help whiten your teeth. Make sure you head to TheraBreath.com to check out their wide range of mouth-saving products. Today we're playing a round of Red Flag or Deal Breaker Hygiene Edition. We must determine whether these hygiene dating moments are red flags, meaning you'll give the person another chance, or deal breaker, meaning you are out of there. Ready to play?
Let's do it.
Listen, I got to say.
Hygiene edition. I love it.
Love a hygiene edition. TheraBreath is great.
I'm
using it like crazy.
I have one in each of my bathrooms.
They sent us a lot of product. I'm not going to lie. I got the travel size. I got the medium size. I got the big size. They're great, though. It's great.
Especially, people who talk for a living like us. You got to make sure your breath is minty fresh.
Got to protect your instrument.
And on a date. You always use it before a date?
That's the thing. To get TheraBreath and do a little swoosh, you're good to go.
Right. And then you don't have to even think about it. That's the best thing.
That's right.
You just don't think about the breath. One less thing to think about.
The beauty of TheraBreath is peace of mind.
Yes. All right. Let's do our first red flag or deal breaker.
Hygiene edition.
Hygiene edition. They have a musty smell. Hi, J&J. Love the pod. Thanks for all you do. I recently went on a couple dates with a guy who was awesome, smart, interesting, funny, cute, etc. We have fun together, and I'm really enjoying getting to know him so far. There's one thing, though. He is a little smelly.
Little smelly.
Little smelly.
Little funk.
That's one thing. On our
I
first,
love using the word funk.
funky
smell.
is like a fun word to say.
Isn't it?
Funky.
Guy's got a funky
I like
smell.
I like funky and I like wacky.
Love wacky.
Both very fun words.
I've been hearing wackadoodle a lot lately. I think
Really?
it was a
Are you hanging
TikTok.
on Boca too much?
These wackadoodles. Yeah, it's like a TikTok thing.
That's funny.
Wacky. Bananas. Love bananas.
Bananas fun.
These guys are bananas.
Yeah.
How much fun
It's
is
kind
that
of like these
saying?
old phrases coming back.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
names.
So he's a little smelly. On our first date when I hugged
Funky
him.
Fred.
That's how he goes on the phone. On our first date when I hugged him, I was like, whoa, I think he smells. But the bar was semi-crowded and one of the first warm days in New York, so I thought it might be someone else I got a whiff of. On our second date, I went back to his place and we were making out, which was lovely. However, I noticed again, a little smelly. Like B.O. We were cuddling a bit and I had to readjust so I wouldn't be smelling it as much. When I left, I felt like the smell was lingering in my nose.
Hey.
What do I do?
sticky.
It's too early to tell him. It's too early to tell him he smells. I'm feeling like this is potentially a bigger deal in terms of personal hygiene. We're both in our late 20s, so I think we definitely should have hygiene nailed down by now. What do you do when someone is great in all aspects you've been seeing so far, but they are stinky? Am I the asshole? Is this a deal breaker? I'm going to see him again, but I have to say I'm caught up on the smell.
Got a little duty funk
A little smelly.
going on. What do you think? I think it's interesting.
It's a little early
It's too early.
to tell him about the smell.
I think
Although
this is
I think
different.
you'd wanna
Male,
know.
female. Maybe this is a little different.
If someone told me about, I think at any time it'd be mortifying. Smell is one of those things that's a little, because the tough thing about being told that you smell, unlike other things, is that and then you have to think, how long have I smelled for?
Right.
He's
and
in his late 20s.
is it my lifestyle that produces smell? Like, is this something I can even fix?
Am I a smelly person?
I'm just a smelly guy.
Right.
It might be how he washes his clothes. It might be that he doesn't
Deodorant.
shower a lot.
Forgets to put on deodorant.
Deodorant. I've forgotten.
I've
been
forgotten too. It
funky
happens.
freed.
Happens, but here's the thing. One time you've forgotten. Fine.
Mhm.
But she's saying it's like recurring.
Right. When she said about like being in the bar, one time I farted before getting in an Uber with someone, and it like came in with me, and I was like, "Fuck."
Brought it along for the
I
ride.
brought
Yeah.
right. Good thing it was an Uber XL.
You could blame it on the driver then.
I did. Threw him directly under the bus. Didn't
Honestly, if
even
you tip well
think
enough, I'm
twice.
sure that he would be fine with it.
Tip? No. Here's a tip. Better stop farting in your Uber.
Because I'm blaming it on you anyway.
Right. No, I blame the driver. I said
Like
this,
after you got out?
When we got in, I go, this car stinks. You know.
Okay.
How about this car? You know. But again, because I didn't smell, like it didn't repeat. You know, like
Right.
I got that
That's the
one
thing.
off. You know.
What if
You
someone
only get one time to blame someone else.
if someone told you smelled
If
now at like a month into dating? You've been on 4 dates and the
Mhm.
person's like, yeah, you have a scent.
I would go, what do you smell? And
Duty. BO. You smell like BO.
Is it like, what do you mean?
Like it smells like, when you haven't showered in a bit.
I don't smell it. Like, what if they come back with it? I don't smell it.
Okay,
you're
then it's
fucked.
over.
Right.
Then it's over. You have to, the person, it's a conversation.
Yeah. Hey, I guess you
Oh my
could,
God,
hey, do you smell that?
Here's the thing the only thing you can say, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
Right. Yeah. I saw a comedian.
A woman you're dating is smelly.
Hey, no, I'm not even.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
There is no fucking way. And I would never say it.
You would just end it?
I don't even know if I would end it. Like considering
marry
what they
her?
said, smart, fun, we have a great time together. I think the smell becomes the room. There's a point where it's
Just
our smell.
buy her deodorant.
Got you something.
But then that's the thing. It's kind of a publicly embarrassing thing. Everyone you bring her around, she smells.
How bad does she smell? It's bad. Bad enough to smell from
Bad
like
enough
this
that
far
she's
away.
that she's writing in. Yeah.
Right. I think all else being equal, this feels like, we did the reunion episode. Something you said in that episode was like, this is a changeable thing.
For a man. Yeah.
For a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a woman, I don't think I could change it.
I would see how long I could go with sticking it out. But I think for a man, I think I could say something a month in. I'd have to say, like, listen, like, I really like hanging out with you.
Right.
I have to say. There's a little bit of a smell.
We got a smell issue. Yeah, we got a smell issue.
As long as you started with a you started with a compliment.
Right. I'm having a great time with you. We have a smell
Right.
thing. You
It'd be
smell
kind
fucking
of
garbage.
anything else. Like, imagine someone was pronouncing a word that they said frequently wrong.
Tussie.
I think a month in, I'd have to. I think I said this to Mike. I'm like, I don't like when you say doggy.
Doggy.
I don't like when you say doggy.
And what did he
Just
say?
call it a dog. It was like, all right.
All right. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if these
No,
get
then he said it
taken
more.
as well.
Then he said it more to annoy me. But
Right. You got to fuck with you.
right. But then he doesn't.
I guess
say
if
it
I
anymore.
said this to a woman, she's not taking her armpit, putting it against my face. Like, it was a bad. Like,
Right.
She's not going to fuck with me. That's the hard part. Doggy's different than your body's off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would ever say anything. If I liked them enough, I'd stay with it, though. Not a deal breaker.
You would stay. It'd be a
Yeah.
red flag.
Everything's perfect except a little BO. I'll deal with it.
I would agree. It would be with her though, where she's like, it's making me a little concerned about this. Might be the thing to note when you think about his personal hygiene overall. Like, what's his apartment like?
Right. Well, that's the thing. Where's the smell coming from?
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
his apartment like? Does his apartment smell like? Does he take care of his? Is he like a mess? Like,
Right. Because if it's
he have
it's hard
stains
to
on all
believe
his
it's
clothes?
nothing else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
red flag. Red flag.
Okay.
But it would require further investigation.
Let's go to the next one.
All right. Hi, Jared and Jordana. I'm sure you've received countless emails that start with "Love the pod." Well, I'm here to say, love the pod. Thank you so much for making me laugh and keeping it real. I've absolutely implemented some of your advice as I wade through the dating app trenches here in Chicago.
Thank
it.
you.
I went on 2 dates with a guy this past winter, and I noticed that he had a habit of chewing with his mouth open. On our second date, stop. He proceeded to take a large bite of bread and then continue our conversation while still chewing the giant bite of bread. I asked him if he would mind finishing chewing before he resumed talking. He responded, "Is it that bad?" Red flag or deal breaker. He talks with his mouth. He talks with his mouth and also doesn't have awareness that it's that bad. He talks with his mouth open, I think she meant to say.
I love that. I just imagine him holding a baguette, taking a chomp.
Is this better or worse than the smelly person? I think it's better than the smelly person.
I think it's worse.
Really?
There's an element of like, here's the problem. If he's never been told, like, this is actually an issue. If I was told I've never been told I speak with my mouth full.
Right.
Okay. So as 38, I'm going to go with 38 years of history of never being told that to believe that I'm doing talking and eating well enough.
Okay.
If I go on a date with a woman who's like, can you not chew with your mouth, talk with your mouth full? I would be like, oh, you're a little too particular. Like it would become a red flag deal breaker on them for me. Like I wouldn't believe them.
But what if they did
It'd be
it?
fake news to me. But I'm saying, if they did it and I was like I don't know if I would ever say anything. Probably
Right.
not. I mean, the fact that this person
She
said
said
something
something, yeah.
is actually crazy to me.
Well, she said something. He didn't seem to think it was a big deal.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If they came back at me and were like, I think that was him. When I read this email, I was like, he's never been told this before. So he thinks that she's being a little touchy.
Right.
And then for me, telling me I'm eating with my mouth open would be the deal breaker.
Okay.
More than
I can see that especially on the first date.
First date, I've
Yeah.
never been told it in my
What about
life. And then
you've had
suddenly
sex?
you're
You're getting breakfast the morning after.
after sex.
Yeah.
And she says that to me
Yeah. One thing is really bothering me.
on the,
I like you a lot, but
you chew with your
just the
mouth open.
chewing. It's a thing. I would make it about me. If I were gonna say it, I'd make it about me.
Right.
I'd make it about me with the smell too. Actually, new idea. I'm super sensitive to smell. I'm super I have like a thing about
Mhm.
eating and like really particular about it. You're chewing a little bit with your mouth open.
I would think that person is fucking nuts.
Even if they're self-deprecating when they say it.
even if they said it, I'd be like, well, what is this? How you are with everything?
I just don't like when people smell like shit. I'm particular that way.
Something about me that you got to know is if you smell like diarrhea.
But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You're making it about me. Like I'm particularly sensitive to this.
If someone said I'm just this way with this smell, I would go, no. That means you're this way with a lot of fucking things.
Okay.
That would be my assumption of someone when they're like, oh, it's just me. I just get really sensitive to breath. I'm like, oh, you're probably sensitive to everything in your life.
So you won't allow anyone to be sensitive towards anything?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm just, you can be sensitive. I think when it becomes something that I've never heard about myself,
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean?
But you would
Like-
have to imagine if you're doing that on a date, maybe you're either not self-aware at all or you've heard it.
right. If you've heard it before, oh, sorry. Sometimes I lose
trying to
myself.
think.
I don't know if I would ever, maybe, is that a problem for you? Maybe you have heard it and you're like, well,
Yeah.
fuck off. I'm
Well-
a little sensitive to it myself.
I'm trying to
Right.
think. I'm thinking a month into dating, someone says to me, "You say like a lot,
Right.
right?" Just it's a little thing about for
Right.
me.
So
It's a pet-
let's play this
'Cause
out.
this is a real
We're-
thing.
we're-
That's what I say a lot.
And
sure.
you have been conscious of it.
yes, but I still do it.
You still do it. So we're a month in, I go, hey, this is just a me thing, but like, you say like a lot.
hmm
Is there anything?
Here's what I would say. I would feel shitty. I think.
Right.
I would. I would say, listen, it's not something I do consciously. I don't really think I could change it. If you don't like it, might not work out.
Sounds like we're on a very tense date.
Like
Like this would be the most tense date.
I
don't
mean,
you
I would.
think?
It's kind of that.
Even
but this
saying
that's
it is like
something
kind
you
of a
can't help
dickhead
though,
thing,
I
right?
guess. Depends, like something. Well, it's like the smell. You would have to acknowledge, like if I said that to someone who smelled and they were like, I know, I'm trying to work on it. I don't know where it's coming from. It's very smelly. I
Right.
understand. Like that's a person. I'm like, great. We'll figure it out.
Right. That's the difference between we have a smell problem and you have a smell problem.
Right.
Listen, I'm having a great time, and listen, I've been trying to fix it. Like those are
Right.
different conversations than, I don't know. I guess like if a guy ever said to a woman, you say like a lot, and can it really?
No
bother
one's
you?
ever said that to me. I'm sure people have thought it.
No way. I think it's more on your mind than it is on anyone else.
That's possible.
I think it's also something that commenters say to like because they know they can never be
Wrong.
wrong
Because they've
on that.
counted.
Right. You're looking for a way to bring people down. I
Right.
think,
That's fair.
But I think on a date, if someone was that, if I ever said that, that would be written in here of like, can you believe this monster?
If you said something about the.
The likes,
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if you said something about
the
the
chewing. I think it would
open
be-
mouth.
To me, it's a little touchy.
Once you reach a certain level of intimacy, you can say anything to anyone.
Right.
But the smelliness is actually more physically offensive, I think. Like, it's tough to physically be
Right, to
somewhere
push
that
through.
smells. Yeah.
I agree with
That's
that.
why I don't think this is as bad.
The chewing's bad. To see the food in their mouth, I think is worse than the smell.
I'd have to see them
Did
both.
I say
right
that
in front of
before?
me.
I'm trying to think if I've been. Now I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, I'm just imagining seeing the food.
Yeah, it depends how bad it was. Okay, yeah. All right, fine. Forget it. Forget it. Let's do another one. You want to read it?
One more. I just went on a second date with a guy where we walked from my apartment to see some historic sites in a cute neighborhood nearby and then stopped for lunch. My date just started Invisalign, and I assume he put his retainers back in right after lunch. We had about a 20-minute walk back to my place where the date would presumably end. And during that walk, I could tell he was sneakily trying to check his breath at least a dozen times.
He's got the retainer in. I guess.
Nerd alert! Can you imagine? Puts his clicks his.
It's so funny. Like for the entire Invisalign community, like our biggest threat is you. Just
Me?
yes.
What do you mean? Oh.
You know, like the braces, like you're like nerd, like all the things that you think in the back of your head, like your biggest insecurities around the lisp, the nerd, like.
And I'm the one. This is our mean episode. I'm sorry.
it's true. We did preface it with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny. You're wearing a retainer and going, like,
They don't want to be smelly person.
gets out the spray bottle. At certain points, he would try to walk ahead of me or fall behind me to check so he wouldn't be in my eye line. He even stopped completely twice. It was very clear what he was doing, and it got harder and harder for me to carry on our conversation as if nothing happened. I had gotten the ick so bad by the time we arrived at my place that I went straight for the hug and headed inside. I feel bad about the situation because I finished Invisalign last year. My dating with Invisalign tips I sent in were featured on the U Up
Wow.
IG.
An author.
There we go. And when he asked me for advice at the beginning of our date, I recommended carrying around travel toothbrush kits because breath can go downhill fast if you put your retainers back in without brushing. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah. No,
Obviously, this
You
comment
got to
got in his
maintain
head.
braces because there could be food stuck in there. I know because I'm also a nerd.
Nerd alert. But it's not going to kill you to just leave the retainers out for an extra 20 minutes. I was only medium into the guy, so it was enough to push me over the edge. What say you? What do you think?
I agree. The fact that she said she was only medium into the guy would make it a thing. But I think it's also kind of affects your whole confidence level. Second date, you're constantly checking yourself. No matter what
Right.
it would be, I think it would be like a little bit of a turn off because you'd be like, this person doesn't feel good about themselves.
Right. Hey, before you put those in, they really get smelly after you put them back in. All right, let's go. Like, I don't know. I can
Not
understand why
hot,
he's
not
self-conscious.
sexy, yeah.
Yeah, not sexy. I can understand the whole thing.
I could see if I were dating with Invisalign, I would say in the beginning of the date, the annoying thing about these braces is sometimes there's like you preface it with that
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't talk about it ever again. And
Right.
if it's smelly, it's smelly.
Do you bring them on the date? Like,
I don't know. I had a different. I didn't have ones that you could remove. I had them built in.
I'm aware.
Yeah, you know. Otherwise, I would have
know
taken
this
them
well.
off for this podcast.
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
know,
have taken it off for the date.
Yeah, go on
Yeah.
the date. She's saying what's 20 minutes without him? What's an hour and a half, 2 hours?
I don't know. I think that I do think there's a lot of rules around it. It's probably
Right.
frowned upon, but
There's a dentist listening like, no.
oh, right, yeah. Well, it's kind of like the annoying thing about that is that if you want it to work and it's expensive, so you don't want to do it and then have it not work because you went
Right.
on you gotta sacrifice something for it.
And time is money. The longer you have them, the more.
Yeah,
right?
just everyone should just have crooked teeth. It doesn't matter.
Right.
As someone who did the stupid thing with the 4-month-long lisp,
Yeah, there's a point where it's like enough's enough. These are the teeth.
you look
got.
fine.
You look
right.
good. Well, thanks to our sponsor, TheraBreath. No, but care about your teeth because we want you to get TheraBreath.
Yes. Care about the way your mouth smells. for sure.
Absolutely. You deserve to go into cuffing season feeling confident, and TheraBreath is here to help. Pop in a TheraBreath lozenge for a dry mouth or simply swish with their alcohol-free mouthwash for 12 hours of fresh breath. Well, Jordana, we did it again.
We did it. I'm proud of us.
Solved dating.
We'll be
People.
back next week
With an
on
SOS.
Sunday. We'll be back on Sunday with an SOS. It's gonna be great.
Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.